Move this out of the way. So here's what's going to happen for you as a broker. You can sign in now from referralwealthbuilder.com. You go to the broker link in the upper right-hand corner, and you can just sign straight into your back office. You're going to use the exact same username and password that you use as a user, because every broker is a user. Every user is a potential broker, so you have the same username and password. So if you have the initial contact information that you got from your email, then you will use that username and password. If you forgot your username and password from the login page, you can request it and it'll be resent to you. So from this dashboard, we now have a quick little overview of all the active users in your back office, how many people have moved over to the candidate level, and we'll talk about each one of these levels here in a second. People that have gone from candidate to now waiting for the underwriter because they filled out enough of the forms, the number of people that have gone into funding, the people who are needing credit repair, and then some of the contacts, comments, or tasks waiting for you as a broker. As we start sending out notices to you, all the unread notices will be mentioned up here at the top. So as you're going to see in your back office, the very first thing you see is a quick overview at the top. You're going to see the inbox for communications internal between you and your clients if you allow them to do that. And for you and staff members, you have an inbox here that you can ask questions, and we track the conversation so that everyone knows that you're being taken care of. Then over here on the right-hand side, this is something that we're working on for you guys. As a new broker, there's certain things that you probably need to fill out. You know, give us your banking information so we can wire you your commissions and get all your contact information set up. This should be up and running in the next week or two so that you can actually go through a checklist, make sure you're ready for getting paid. And then down here in the lower left-hand corner, you're going to see the recent notices. So every one of the trainings that we do, the conversations, you'll see a history of the conversations and the videos down here at the bottom. And then this video, today's video, is going to replace the last one we did as an orientation video to talk about how to use the site. So that's the initial dashboard in your back office. The most important part of your dashboard is going to be over here called progress. Every one of your leads that come in, we call them leads. This is a person who hasn't done anything at all. Just you've given them, or you've either signed them up or they've signed themselves up, and they are in the lead list. And this lead list is just a clean list all the way down, top to bottom, exactly who is in there. You can sort by their name. You can search by certain people. You can sort by their progress. You can sort by their salary, their stage, and their credit score. It's super simple to do just by clicking that button. It sorts that. And then you can manage the person's account over here on the right-hand side. You can look at what forms they filled out. You can edit their user profile. And then you can delete them or archive them if they decide that they're not interested any longer. The really cool part about this is what we're calling categories or buckets. Once a person moves, the way that it works is for a person to move from a lead to a candidate. And they become a candidate when they fill out a certain amount of information. They or you go into their back office, they fill out some basic information, the first 4 forms, the system automatically moves them into the candidate bucket. And then from candidate, you now can help them move to the next stage. For them to get to underwriter, from candidate to underwriter, you just need to go in, log in as them. Here, click on their back office. You can see it automatically logs me into their back office. I go through the forms on the right-hand side by clicking on the navigation on the left-hand side. Click on the information, submit the forms. Once you have at least 4 of the forms filled out, it will then move them over to underwriter view. And here we go, candidate underwriter. From this view, now the underwriters get an email and it says this person's ready for review. Once they look at it, they can do the same thing. They can go into their back office, look at their forms, make some questions, put some notes in the edit profile field, and then move them over into the next stage, which is either credit repair or funding, which is we want as many people as you can in this category right here, funding. If they move them over to funding, the same thing happens. If there's a request from the underwriter or request from us, if you are managing their account, you're going to get an email saying we need this or they need this and we need this. You'll then log in. You'll do a search for the person. So let's say you have hundreds of leads. Just type in the last name of the person that you're looking for. I should probably spell it correctly. Type in the person that you're looking for, and you're going to see every person that comes up with that last name. Then all you have to do is click on their back office. You'll see that I am now logged in as him. You can see in the upper left-hand corner of the nav bar, you can see, just notice that you're logged in as him and not you. You can then go into the personal profile and fill that out. You can fill out his NDA form. You can just get everything that we need to on this form and submit it for them. Once that's done, funding happens, you get paid. And then you're going to see down here, the invoice page will become alive whenever you start getting commissions. And that's where you're going to track all your payments and commissions. So let's see, from the progress page, once you help someone make it to funding, the next thing you're going to want to do is down here at the staff page, if you get stuck with anything at all, if you have any questions, you have any comments, you have any issues, you can't get something to upload, or you're not really sure about something, this is the page where you're going to ask the questions. You should probably ask your broker or your sponsor first, see if they can help you get that done. If you can't, then come back here and fill out a little form. You know, here's mine. If it's a technical stuff, if something's not working software-wise, or you have any questions about that, you can just go ahead and click the form, submit a message. You see Rebecca's on the call. She is the chief geek. She's back here in the email tools, and then everyone else, customer support, account management, everybody that you need to talk to is back here, and you can send an email request to those people. So last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the difference between the two different leads that you have in your back office. One of them is going to be, and I'm thinking at least half of the customers that come in are going to qualify for this category. The lead is going to be your customer. He's never going to have his own back office. He's never going to log in himself. He's never going to be emailed by the system. You're going to do everything for this person. This person is going to get an account, but you're going to be in complete control of the management of that account. They never hear our names until the very end. You know, once all the funding is getting done and the invoices are happening and everybody's getting paid, they're going to hear something from us. But until then, it's 100% from you. You're in complete control of the broker account. For that type of account, you will go in here, you'll click on Create New Lead. It will automatically fill in your broker assignment number right here, and then you just put in their first and last name. The email address should probably be a fake email address if you don't want the system to email them, or just put in their email address for the future and put in no, that you don't want the system to email that person. That person is your customer. From beginning to end, the entire process is yours until you decide that you want the system to start notifying them. The other type of customer is somebody that you are partnering with them and us, and you want us to help in the process. You want the emails to go out. You want us to help them as a customer. You don't actually want to upload all their documents for them. You'd actually like for us to work with them. In that scenario, you'll go down here to it says registration page. The difference between Create New Lead is your lead. The registration page is our lead. We as a company and you together will help this client make it through the process. If they sign up or you sign them up using this link will cause their emails to automatically go to them. They will get an email with their username and password. They will then have access to their own back office. So they will get this version of the back office. Let me show you real quick. They will get this guy right here. I'm going to log in my fake account. They'll actually get a version of this back office, and then their checklist will be managed by them. You can also help them if you want, but they're going to get the process. They're going to get the training video on exactly how to get through. Now, I think that it's actually easier for you as a broker to let them do it because they already have the information and they can do it at their own convenience. But it's up to you. It depends on your relationship with your client. You get to make that decision. So there's the difference. The registration page gets them to be a shared client with you and us, and the Add New Lead is just your customer. So there's a difference between the two. We're going to be adding more and more features in the back as far as reporting and tracking, especially for some of you advanced brokers who are going to bring in 100 people a week. We want some nice charts and graphs for you guys so you can see the progress of each person and where the bottlenecks are in your system, because we want you to treat this like a business. So we want to give you all the business tools necessary. So I'm going to, I think I've covered everything that you guys need to go ahead and get started. Setting up a new person, getting them into the back office, being able to log in as them to help them through the process, and everything else is pretty much automated. The system will take care of the person from beginning to end. Let me just do one more thing. I'm actually going to show you something that's probably going to be an issue for some of you guys. So I'm going to go back into my account. One of the things that we changed is you have two different versions to be able to look at their forms. And so I'm going to go back here. This is a nice little feature that we just added this week. So if I go into my fake account, you have two different ways to look at a person's forms. One is to click on the forms link, and you can see, you'll actually see the forms that they've uploaded in a little visual icon to see what they've uploaded. The other way to do it, and probably the most common way for you to do it, is to just log into their back office as them, go to the uploaded documents section, and just look at their forms here. You can change their forms, you can upload them, you can delete them. This is probably the best way to do it. The other one is a little bit more clunky, but some of you are actually going to want to see a little visual image of the form, but you'll also be able to view them from here too. So I would suggest use this first, and then if you need a little bit more detail, go ahead and click on the forms link. So that's the only difference. I'm going to go ahead and open up the call for Q&A. I'm going to, I guess I'll just keep recording it and delete it off of the back end if we don't need it for saving the video. But all right, anybody have a question? Raise your hand, unmute yourself. Be more than happy to answer any questions you guys have and get you started.
Bill, hi, it's Steve. So from what I was seeing looking through this, the second option for adding a new lead, which is a joint under the registration of a new lead, the green tab on the left-hand side, that's actually not functional at the moment? Or is that functional?
It is functional.
Okay, because it just said sample on there. So okay, so both options are available and functional right now and already.
Yeah, so one of them says live, registration page is live, and then the sample was the invoice page.
Doesn't it say sample on the new registration as well?
No. Shouldn't. If it does in your back office, let me know. But on mine, it says live for registration page and sample for invoice.
Hi, Bill. This is Darlene.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi. Did you explain the check mark, the up and the down, what that means?
I didn't. That's a good one. When a person gets in, now here's the thing about the check mark, is that if a person makes it from lead to candidate, you're almost always going to have this check mark filled out. But in some cases, here's really important for it to go to underwriting, for the underwriter to look at your account. They need to be able to see the username and password and the company that we're going to do the credit check with, whether it's Credit Karma or Credit Check Total or whatever it is. And that check, there's a little box that says check. If it has thumbs up, that means we have all that information. We have their last four of their social security number, we have their username, we have their password, and we have the URL of the credit check service. And so it's super easy for us and the underwriter to click that button and pull up the username and password and click on the monitoring service. It's something for you to look at too as it gets sent over to underwriter. If that's not up, then we're sending stuff over to someone and the information is not right. So it might be good for you to look at that, you know, before you say that you've submitted everything. Just make sure that they have a thumbs up, and thumbs down, of course, is just something that you can get filled out pretty quick.
So, Bill, are you saying that the thumbs up, thumbs down is automated, or is there something that we need to check when the check should be thumbs up?
No, if it's thumbs down, then that means that this information in the back office, they or you say it was submitted, but it really wasn't.
Okay.
Because it's looking under the FICO information to make sure that there's actually a real credit score in here. Because you could fill out this form and have wrong or missing information, and it'd be checked off as if it's done, but the data's not there. So a person could go in and say, I've submitted this form, and in reality they haven't. So that's just a double check for you guys to see that the person hasn't provided everything you need. So it is automated. Anybody else? I think the system is going to help you with crystal clarity of process as it goes through, because the things that can be automated are automated, and everything that needs your participation, you'll get an email saying this person has not done anything in 3 days at a certain amount of time, which we haven't perfectly defined. I think it's 14 days. If there's no activity for a person in 14 days, instead of you and us looking at them over and over again, we'll probably just archive the client. We'll just put them in an archive file, and then you won't be notified on a regular basis that this person still needs your help. But at a certain point, you know, every 2 or 3 days that a person hasn't done anything, you'll get a notification that says, you know, this person or these people haven't filled out these forms, and give you a quick list so that you can email your clients and get the stuff, get the information you need from them.
Bill, is any particular reason I tried to use the search function earlier this morning when you put in your name and nothing was happening. The leads were actually in the candidate list, but that function wasn't working for some reason. Any reason that might be that you can think of?
No, if you can show me an example, I'll be more than happy to test it and see what's working. We had somebody yesterday, we actually found a little glitch. Someone was typing for somebody whose last name was something space junior, and it was only looking for, they were looking for their last name, and it didn't type in the whole thing, so we couldn't find them. So I think we've remedied that problem. So if you guys run into anything like that, the client's in there and you type it in the search field and it's not showing the way you think it should, let me know, because we want to make sure that every one of those scenarios, whether it's your fault or ours, we want to know it so other people don't do the same thing. You actually have two different search boxes, one under the all leads category. If I searched under this person, I'll have it show up this way. If I go under candidates, which gives you a lot more information, if I go under candidates or any other and I search for the same person, I get them in the full display version. So you have actually two search areas. One is the all leads area and one is the display area. So if you're in any one of these links across the top, it'll show them like this. If you're in the all leads category, which for those people that like spreadsheets and quick view of everybody, this is the view that you want to see them in. But the search field should work. Go ahead and as soon as we get off the call, give me an example and I'll type it in and figure it out.
All right. So we don't have the additional box that's coming up that was there last week. It's just all in that search field that you were showing us.
Additional boxes?
Yeah, last week when you showed us this, we pressed that and an additional box on the left-hand screen came up where you could press find next after you're doing a search. So
no, we don't have a next. It's just right. That's actually painful and tedious. Now you actually get a result with every single person on the same page.
Okay, great.
Hey, there's an old ugly one.
Chat box, Bill.
What was that?
There's a couple of questions in the chat box. One from Pastor D, and another one from Irene.
When do we get our links? Everyone should already have one. If you're a user in the system, you should already have a link. If you don't have a link, then just go to the home page, which is referralwealthbuilder.com. Go to the broker sign up page, which should be right, which should look something like this. Where is it? Should look something like this, and hit log in. If you don't know your password, just click forgot password and it'll send you your link. If you still don't get it, if you put in your email address or your username and you still don't get a username and password, then go ahead and contact your broker or sponsor and let's make sure that you're signed up. And then the other question, sponsor assignment. If you have someone in their file who has the wrong sponsor assignment, and I know that because we migrated over 300 people from ClinchPad over to the new system. I know that there are a couple people back there that had that happen. And what we did was, if we weren't crystal clear who the assigned broker was, who the sponsor was, we assigned them to somebody internal, so that if they get to the point of funding, we make sure that the person, we actually find that out before we actually move them over. So if you see someone that's in the system, and I think we're down to 20, I think we have 22 people that fall in that category. So those 22 people, we're doing everything we can to find it. But if you know of somebody that's signed to the wrong person, go ahead and submit a ticket. Log into your back office and either submit it to me or to Rebecca, or actually anybody, and any one of us can reassign them.
Bill, do you see a question directly to you from Irene through the chat box? She's saying she can't use the microphone for some reason.
Yeah, if she has any questions, just log in and ask me, and I'll go ahead and send you the, just tell me who you need reassigned. I'll do it for you.
Okay, thanks.
I have another fast question. On this screen, what does the color coding indicate with the icon, the profile icons?
Green are 700 and above credit scores.
Okay.
Red is under 600 credit score, and then the gray icon would be in between. So that'll help you identify who are probably the fastest to go to funding and who are the people that are going to need the most amount of work. You're also going to see when they move over to DTI pay down and repair, you're going to see that the cost for repairing their credit is also showing up, and you'll be able to sort by that too. So the three criterias will be pretty evident by the time they get here. You know, how much it's going to cost to get them to payment, and whether their credit score is right, and whether their debt to income ratio is good for pay down. So all that's going to be super clear at a single click of a button, and then be able to sort by any of those too. After the call, these phone numbers and emails will not be blurry anymore. I just did it for a temporary training call. All right, any other questions? Everybody good?
So John, Bill, sorry. The system's got all the basics functionality we need now that everyone can start using this system, correct?
Yes, it's 100% to get someone all the way through.
Right. So we really need everybody to start getting up to speed for this, so we can not have the office with Darlene and the staff putting stuff in. We need everybody to be able to put in themselves, put in their new leads if they want it in both ways that Bill said, because it's the only way that we're going to be able to keep up with everything. So it's important that you're going to play around, try to figure out, what you can work out, what you can't, and then, work with Bill and ourselves to get that further clarity you need. But we really seriously need everyone to start using this now, and not just sending in names of FICO scores or parts of information or lots of individual things coming in. We've got to use the system. But Bill and Rebecca have done an amazing job putting this all together. It puts in such a better situation. So it's honestly going to make it mandatory, but we have to use this. Otherwise, we're just what will happen is the people who are using it will just, their accounts, their leads will move through a lot quicker. Their client funded quicker, and they'll get paid quicker. So hopefully that's enough incentive for everybody.
Yeah, and just to follow up on what Steve is talking about, here's the deal, especially for the brokers that are online. You guys are sort of, fortunate in the sense that you're part of our group before we've even really done anything. At some point, we're looking at, generating hundreds of leads a month. Our nearest competitor in this field does about 600 transactions with 700 FICO score individuals. And we have something called funnel hacking. What that means is we look at what competitors are doing online, and we learn exactly the steps and procedures. And so we expect to get similar results. There's hardly enough people, that to manage that kind of flow. All of you will be the beneficiary of that. That is, all the people who are brokering and so on. As you can see, we're moving from a small operation to a larger operation. And so it really is important, and the priority of how those leads are distributed. In other words, we get 100 people that are 740 FICO scores. Any sort of a customer service / client relationship person to manage that. That's going to be distributed, but it's going to be distributed according to who has mastered the system. We can't give it to someone who doesn't understand how to use the system. It doesn't make any sense. That actually forces us to go out, because we now can make projections and say, listen, let's hire 150,000, 200,000 a year guy to go process 100 clients. That's 10 clients a month. That guy's doing 2.5 clients a week. 2.5 clients a week. He's making, he's making with bonuses over $1 million a year within the system. Now, for now, that's you guys, because you are all, sort of here and learning the system. But as we move forward, for those who don't master the system, it just becomes less profitable for you to participate. And you got to understand, with 400 or 500 clients coming on board, we'll have no choice but to go with the individuals who have sort of the best handle on that situation. So for that reason, you're given the best support and the relationships who actually get to know the system. But understand this, to operate at the level that we're looking to operate as a company, where we're matching our competitors who are doing between 100 to 600 clients a month, this is a must. It's not a situation where we get to have a choice about utilizing it if we want to be competitive. However, you guys get to decide how you want to. And I'm speaking as a person involved in the notion of customer relations and understanding how profitability works. You get to decide how much of the capacity and resources that are available to you to service whatever your goals and dreams are financially and whatever else. And so this really is, as to follow up with what Steve is saying, it really is important, because what's going to happen is this is a small group of people, maybe 30, 40, 50 people, but we may end up having 200 people. And they're working with their own resources. They're getting leads from the company. And I believe that the people who are here sort of originally in the beginning should get the benefit of that. But to get the benefit of that, you need to go through this educational system and learn the system. Otherwise, what will happen is we'll get leads, hundreds of them, and the people who are most trained and understand how to pull them from this system will be ahead of you guys. And that's not really, from my perspective anyway, really cool, because I consider you guys sort of original first phase set of members and brokers, and as we get 50, 100 or so individuals who are professionals who do take these types of things as a way to make a living, you want to make sure that you're just as sharp as they are, because believe me, those people come ready. They come ready with their networks. Some of those people are nurses who are members of nurses associations, and they have 400 or 500 people that they can go talk to. Some of those people are going to be firefighters. By the way, those guys have excellent credit. So if you guys know any firefighters, go talk to them. And they come with their associations. Some of those people are doctors, over 300,000 of them in the United States, and they come with excellent credit and money. So if you know any of those guys, go talk to them. But however way they come on board, because of the sort of affiliate program, they have the ability to make referrals. And sometimes when they're just making referrals, those referrals will end up in the hands of some of you folks. But you got to understand how to operate the system in order to make that happen. And right now, we're sort of in the first 90 days. But I can assure you, after 90 days, where you see maybe 40, 50 people, you'll see maybe 100, 120. But you guys are here first. Take the advantage. Take the ground and own it. And so this is what this is about. And get to work. And if there's any question, Bill will be here to support you in any way. And so is the staff as well. And get as fluent as you can about this, because when this does get to become a larger part of the organization, a lot of you guys are part of the profit sharing of what we're doing with a portfolio program. I don't know if you guys have been briefed on that, but part of what our platform does is support multi-billion-dollar companies such as Cannabis Testing Labs, which is a huge industry, growing to about $36 billion by 2020. Some of this capital that we're pulling together actually goes to that. Their projections are $600 million a year times a multiple of 5 or 10. They're between a $3 billion to $6 billion company. They're already on the move. One of our companies that we're supporting with some of this capital raise that we're doing there, there's a $140 million FedEx order on the table. We make a $70 million profit with a $7 million input into that particular deal, and that's just a start. It's a $100 billion company. We go public, that's a $4 or $5 billion company. You are all in part of that profit sharing. So what does that mean? Generally speaking, everybody on this line, we do our job as a team, as a multi-millionaire within 36 to 60 months. That's a retirement event. And so you have to understand what your role is in terms of the company, and that everything that you do, whether you're operating from a perspective of data or you're dealing with a client, has significant impact on their lives and has a significant impact on your life. Because remember, while we're putting together capital and taking care of our dreams, these people are coming in and getting an education that teaches them how they can take their credit, turn it into a $12,000 a year, at a bare minimum, $12,000 a year for the rest of their lives, while keeping $100,000 in their pocket, understanding how to live debt-free, managing their taxes, and most importantly, being attached to businesses. Because one of the things that we're looking to do is, it's not just about wealth, but it's about health. We're going to have an integrated system where when somebody gets funded, they get 12 months of support of how to improve their health and well-being. Why do we do that? Because we want to be a little bit different than the average company. We want to be close to our clients. We want to show them that we do care. We are doing things, for example, and this is for all brokers who are on the line at this point. If you do get a client, and you first thing you want to ask them, because this is one of the silliest things that come up, do they have a scanner? If they don't have a scanner, take their information down. The company will buy them a scanner and have it delivered to their home. I know it's a small thing. Thank God Amazon has those sort of delivery services, but they will get a scanner because it's one of the things that actually slows us up in the process of getting things done. And if they need a computer, we'll get them a refurbished one too as well, because these are the tools that they need. These are small investments, but you got to remember, each client that's in our system represents anywhere from $150,000 to $300,000 in gross revenue to the company. And so it's really important that we take care of them, that we have them feel value and have value in what we're doing. And it's really important that we service them well, because it is these things that help people to achieve what they need to achieve. That's why the company motto is each one helps one. And so, so all those things are component parts, and I'm giving you a little bit of the bigger picture. I'll save some for later because there's so much more to talk about and so many more companies that we are actually supporting in terms of what we're doing. But remember, you guys are here first. Consequently, rather than doing distributions with hundreds of people, those that, are in the system, prove themselves to be valuable to the company, follow the philosophy that we have in terms of assisting and supporting people, you will reap the biggest benefit of the result that we're getting. We're already beyond the capacity that we thought we would be at this point, and so it's a very exciting time. And as a group, I encourage everyone to take advantage of what Bill and what Steve and what Darlene and the rest of Rebecca and the rest of the supporting staff are offering, which is basically a highway to financial independence, as well as supporting those around you. So anyway, having said that, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna mute out and go from there.
I got one thing, Sully here, dovetailing on Steve's last comment and where Ken picked up. Since we have migrated from ClinchPad, and Bill and Rebecca and all the staff did an incredible job of manually inputting a ton of data into our new system from ClinchPad. So those of you that have put records into ClinchPad since we made that migration, you might wind up having orphans over in ClinchPad that need to come over here. So it might be very advantageous for any of the brokers to go make sure that all of your people that used to be in ClinchPad are now represented here, and that also might help Bill clean up some of those orphan people that they don't know who the sponsor is. But it's been a few days since the cutover, so if anyone was entering records into ClinchPad yesterday or maybe the past 3 days before, it's very likely that they're not in the new system, and you definitely want to be tracking them in the new system. Thanks.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Ken. A couple questions I had while you guys were talking. Someone needs to reach out to Pastor D and get him his username and password, or he should send me a ticket. Send it to bill@billebert.com, and I'll hunt you down and find you. And then someone asked how to submit a ticket. If you'll just go back here to the staff list and just click on the user, we're actually going to have a full-fledged customer support service ticket solution in the back office, but right now we don't really have enough people to warrant that. So right now all you have to do is go back here and ask a question. If you ask a question to the wrong person, don't really worry about it, because that person will just forward it to the right person. But if it's technical web service security kind of stuff, then you'll ask me. If it's web development, like something's not working exactly the way it should, that would be Rebecca. If it's admin or payments, if it's money back and forth kind of stuff for payments and commissions, then it's probably Darlene. If it's just basic help in the system and you just need somebody to help walk you through, you could probably ask just about anybody. And so that's how you submit a ticket. We're going to be adding a ticket system on the front end of your dashboard, so you can just click on a button and have a drop down based on the type of question you have. We'll also have videos, frequently asked questions, everything that you need to get through the system. It is easy, but because not everyone's extremely technical, there are some things that might be a little daunting or overwhelming for a person who isn't. So we want to make this what we refer to as grandma proof. That if you're 80 years old with no computer experience, we're going to walk you through this thing, hold your hand, and make sure it works for you. So that's it for me. Hope you guys will start using the new system.